someone says, this guy's telling me I have to do this now, it's not because we're trying to be pushy salesmen. Mm-hmm. That's not what it's about. It's understanding what the utilities are doing. Yep. As more people are going solar, the utilities are going to make it more difficult, make sense financially. And the utilities are smart enough to know that they're not going to lose out on this.
Back again, episode 10, Storm Solar Synergy.
How's it going, guys?
Bruce Blomberg. I'm Jacob Weisman. We are some of the leaders here at SVG, and we're excited to recap the week. A lot going on, man.
Yes, we had a very busy weekend this past weekend with our boot camp, our door-to-door boot camp, which separated itself from all the others that we've had and attended. We really launched this one for the sales reps, as the sales reps are the ones knocking on the doors, leading the pavement for these companies. So it's important that these guys know exactly how to knock on a door, what to expect, build proposals correctly, the whole process.
Getting their mind right.
Rather than just the owners coming out and getting, their feet wet. We went through the whole process, and it was a great turnout.
And, great turnout and great feedback, even though it was still a lot of the owners that were there. I looked to those Invictus guys, and they, jumped right in. They did the meditation. They're in the ice bath, and they had their Monday meeting set up right behind the weekend boot camp to get their team going on solar.
Yeah, so we had a motivational gentleman come out that's been a part of my boss Farhad's life for the last 10 years. His name's Josue. He does
right there.
He's a trained to do ice baths, and talk about what that does and why that's important and why he hosted that and held that.
Yeah.
Rather than just hopping in cold water, there's a purpose behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what it is it's about keeping the intention behind teaching people how to be successful in solar as a door-to-door person, or just generally, of course, but really as a door-to-door person. You have to be ready to get uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable out on the doors, whether you started in college or whether you came from another background or corporate or wherever it might be that brought you into the solar space, where you said, hey, maybe I'm going to make a little bit more money doing solar, and now I'm ready to get uncomfortable in that way. Okay, you thought you're ready, and then you knocked on your first door and the guy told you to get the hell out of here. Then you knocked on the second one and the guy told you to get the hell out of here. The third one was a buyer, but you were upset and you didn't keep going. That's pretty much how the doors work. Larger numbers, not 3, 40, 50, 60, 100, but getting in the ice bath sets the tone all the same, and that you have to get uncomfortable. And not to mention, it's really just good for you, in the same way that getting around people and getting some rejection and learning to keep moving forward is good for you. Ice bath's just great for you.
So essentially, it's about the mindset. When we got in this ice bath, and really, your body doesn't need your toes, your fingers, your arms, and your legs. It can live without them, right? But once that water hits your organs, your body it tries to warm itself down when it gets into that ice cold water, and you can't catch your breath. So this mindset of being able to overcome that and stay in the water for 2 minutes, it's powerful. I mean, when I got out of that ice bath, I felt better than I felt since I was probably 10 years old. I mean, and it's obviously recovery for the body. So you guys are out knocking on doors every day, and it's also recovery, So I can't explain how important that is to try to at least try this one time. For you guys out there, it's pretty awesome.
And to lock in a routine. What's your routine going to be, where you do work hard and you do your things from working hours, sun up to sundown, really, for us. But what are you doing to take care of yourself? Because we're all human at the end of the day also. And an ice bath is going to make you just a little bit more mentally strong, but physically as well. The endorphins that you get from that carry over, and you feel good.
Yeah.
When you feel good, you have more confidence. When you have more confidence, the homeowner reacts to you in a better way. And that's really something that is powerful for what we're doing here, which is trying to help as many people as possible and doing it repetitively, because you have to keep going. You have to have the one, and the best time to get your next one is after your first one. Yeah,
so we did the ice bath challenge for 2 minutes with the whole group. There was about 50 people, 60 people that came out to the boot camp this time. And after that, right after the boot camp, we got together in little groups of teams, and our staff, took all these guys out and went door knocking, and it was a success. We went out door knocking for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yep.
And
if only I could have 7 guys follow me around every time I'm door knocking. Tell you what, I would have way more clients.
We picked up what? Like
people are like, okay, this is different. What's going on here?
Yeah.
But no, in reality, it's really just that simple. I mean, getting out there and doing it, you're gonna have results. And between the several teams, there's something like 8-9 appointments in just a couple hours.
Yeah, we got a bunch of bills, and it's as easy as that. It's putting the time in and saying the right things. And like you said, when the first 3 people say get off my property, it's knowing that you still are okay with knocking on that 4th door, because as long as you're presenting yourself and you look presentable as a human being, and
you smile and you be yourself. I mean, not everybody has to be as good looking as Bruce to go out there and do this job, but they do have to be a good person, because people smell it right out. Yeah. And it is what it is, Yeah.
And be presentable. Brush your teeth, do your hair. Those little things go a long way. You want to be presentable. You don't want someone knocking on your door that's not presentable, right? So be branded. Have something to show the homeowner, what you're here doing, right? Yeah. We had these little APS laminated sheets that showed what the buyback was in 2017, which was 13.5 cents, and where it is today at 8.5 cents. So showing a homeowner that each year it's gone down a penny, and here we are, right? And it's still a viable option. It's still the no-brainer for them. But hey, if you wait next year, it's going to go down, and if you want to keep waiting, you might not ever get it, right? Yep. So that's
until you're forced to get the battery also.
Yeah.
And that time will come. And you'll get it all the same, because in the meanwhile, APS's rates across the country, they'll do their 4, their 5, their 7, their 9% increase, and that exponentially over 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it's going to make all of these technologies more and more and more viable. So really, it comes back to the fundamental credo that we have to talk about over and over again: is the time is now here in the solar industry. And you better believe that if you bought before that maybe that was something that you should have done.
Yeah.
However, we live in the present, and the past is just for your educational purposes at this point, and the future can be whatever you make it. So, ladies and gentlemen, you should buy solar now. And that I believe in my heart, and that's what makes doing solar so easy, is that I know I can tell somebody and look them right in the eyes and say, this is the time to do it, it's right now. Yeah.
It was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? But as time is now, you're absolutely right. And again, it comes down to, if someone says, this guy's telling me I have to do this now, it's not because we're trying to be pushy salesmen. That's not what it's about. It's understanding what the utilities are doing. Yep. As more people are going solar, the utilities are going to make it more difficult.
Bruce is a math guy, guys, if you didn't already know.
They're going to make it
He's
more,
a numbers guy. He's an accountant.
They're going to make it more difficult to allow you to make it make sense financially. And the utilities are smart enough to know that they're not going to lose out on this, right? So that's what's going to happen. There's never going to be a point that every single homeowner has solar.
So Bruce, here's the objection. Well, I think I'm just going to wait a little while and see what happens.
Yeah, and I understand. We hear this a lot, that I'm going to wait for better technology to come out, right? Well, of course, there's always going to be better technology. But just like the new iPhone that came out, there's going to be another one that comes out next year. But it's going to it's going to do the same thing for you. Yep. As long as these panels are able to generate the energy that you need, then you should do this today, because the technology today is going to last you 50, 60 years. And the reason why this needs to be done today is because utility rates with net metering are dropping exponentially at a fast rate. Yep. And if you wait 2-3 years, they might not offer net metering anymore at that point. Yep. So you should take a look at this today, sir, and hear what I can build for you in a proposal. Yep. And if it doesn't make sense for you, then I'll come back and happily look you in the face and say, you're better off doing what you're doing today.
Yeah. Another way to say that, I'll just simplify it just one bit. There's going to come a time, Mr. Homeowner, where not everybody can get solar, because what happens when you're out to lunch, well, your panels are making power, and yes, it does go to your neighbor, but the panels can't be making power for your neighbor who has solar and another neighbor who has solar. So not everybody can have solar if the panels are making power right in the middle of the day for your neighbors. Eventually, there's going to come a point where the incentive change.
Yeah, they won't. If everyone has solar, there's no grid anymore, and there always has to be a grid. So there will never be a point that everyone has solar, and people need to understand that, right? Because people don't think like that.
Nope.
They just think at some point in my life, I'll do it, and it needs to be earlier than later.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. So, hey, really exciting, all the boot camp. I mean, look behind us. We had 50 organizations out, and that's groups of people within those organizations and teams that they represent. And that's really exciting. And all those dealers now have an opportunity to choose how to do business. We would love for the opportunity to work with you via our Dealer Concierge program. Reasons why the Dealer Concierge program make a lot of sense, and why everything that SVG is doing is geared towards allowing these roofing contractors, general contractors, and business people alike to be successful. First of all, you get to focus on what you do best. Generating solar leads is not that hard when you're good at something as it relates to home improvement. If it's AC, if it's roofing, if it's siding, windows, the thing that you do best, that's great. Keep doing that. When you work with us as a solar concierge through the installer, representing you, representing the installer, representing the product, what you're going to have is a super professional experience where we're able to now communicate on your behalf exactly what this homeowner can expect with a system that's designed very thoroughly and very thoughtfully towards their usage and their life needs. Those things are done. You don't have to worry about that one bit when you bring us your client. And then furthermore, you're now able to continue to focus your organizational's limited resources on what you do best. If that's roofing, then guess what? It's very, very difficult to start teaching your roofers how to do solar on a large scale. You're going to have leaders who perhaps become, apt to it, educated in it, fluent in the language, but you're not necessarily going to start at the bottom teaching every single guy, because you're going to have retention problems, for instance. They're going to want to do solar, and guess what? They might, but any guy that has a great organization is going to realize what the organizational value is. We try to bring you that same organizational value to where we're a partner. We're not competition, we're collaborators.
Yeah, and that's you hit the nail on the head there. It's we're here to help, right? And we know how the solar industry works, and we know what to expect, and how difficult it was when we got in it. And we were a couple of guys that made it through, and here we are today. But it's been a huge success. We've had a dealer program, but we've had a change to it with a new dealer program on a 30, 40, 50 split, where it's forcing guys to not be at our mercy anymore moving forward, to have to close their deals, where in the past, well, if Bruce is going to close every one of their deals, they're not going to ever learn it, all right?
Yeah. I know it's exciting when guys are putting the deals through themselves too.
And it's been, we've seen a lot more every day and each week since we've started this new launch, and that's great, because the whole point of this is for you guys to be able to bring this to your company, to be able to facilitate doing this on your own, and having your guys get this done on their own.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty cool, because all it is at the end of the day is just helping people, and it's a downline of people that you get to help in a role like ours, which is so great. You get to feel good about what you do. And beyond that, you actually have our time being valued, because our cancellation rate is significantly less.
Yeah.
That's to say that you have at least a couple extra eyes, a couple extra, mindfulness people looking at what's going on and making sure that XYZ documents are signed, that commissioning is going to occur after installation,
right?
Everything in between. And that allows for a much lower cancellation. And the last thing that you want as a business owner is cancellation of your existing jobs. It's demoralizing.
Yeah. Well, we are, in the tail end of the summer months here, and what does this mean for solar? Is it, we got to find another job for the winter time because we're not going to make it through because homeowners don't want to make the switch right now, or what's the deal there?
No. So we are here in America. We're in the northern hemisphere, and the way that works is that from essentially February through, let's just say, May, June, those are actually the hours of the day where the time of the year where there are more sun hours, where the days are longest. And what that means in practice is simple. It's that your panels are going to produce the most amount of energy, even though the heat isn't necessarily there. That summer heat's not there in February, March, April. But guess what? What is there is long sun hours receiving the UV. So you're able to take those sun hours and convert them into solar credits, solar net metering.
And usage
that allows,
is lower. And usage is lower. So
usage is lower.
In the summertime, you know, when you're pumping your AC at 72,
Yep.
24 hours a day, that's where you see the spike. So people have the mindset of my bills are high today, I have to go solar today, I can't afford it.
Yep.
And then they get solar and install it in August, and they're wondering why they're paying two bills. Well,
Yep.
it's because your solar system is not meeting what your usage is, or what you're using in that month.
Yep.
So if you get
I've had that conversation at least 4 or 5 times now in the past month, where
yeah.
somebody was promised a $0 bill, and I have to re-explain to them what's going on is that you have not yet built up the credits and sent power back to the grid.
Yeah.
You've only used the power that you've made and more also from the grid. Solar is this thing that has to be explained, educated, and understood to make a homeowner have the expectations of what's really going to happen in the first months. The first months, if you start in summertime, you'll still pull power from the grid, and that's not the easiest thing to explain to somebody at the kitchen table when you have the tension of a potential sale. However, if you are able to and you set the expectations correctly, what's going to happen is the homeowner is going to know exactly what to expect. And then furthermore, they're going to be ready to happily refer their neighbors, their friends, their family, because they understand, if they really were present and aware to that conversation, and you really did your job at a high level, they understand that that next homeowner who starts their solar project today with installation in October, perhaps November, that they're going to now have a situation where, congratulations, you have a zero bill from the get-go, assuming you're in a net metering utility that allows for it. If you're somewhere else, all that's going to happen is you're going to build up those credits a little bit quicker. And again, that's the best time to be starting your solar, is where you're able to now build those credits.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, you know, usage is going to run most likely lower in the winter time, and that's where you're going to get more production than usage.
Yep.
To build those credits up that roll over every month leading into the summertime to get you as far away and keep you away from paying those bills, right?
You know, it's the first impression is really what it is. And if you expected, beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman coming your way, and, you know, you got something like a 6 or a 7 came at you, well, what's going to happen? You're gonna feel funny, right? You got set up, right? You went on your Tinder date and she was a perfect 10, but she shows up, she's more like a 6.
Yeah, it's all about, it's really all about setting the proper expectations, and that's what all homeowners are looking for and asking, right? I mean, it's communication and setting the proper expectations on timelines, what to expect post solar, and I think that's the most important thing to understand is what needs to be done, how to build these out correctly, and how to do this the right way. Because when you do it the right way and build it the right way, it's just about a no-brainer 9 out of 10 times for the homeowner.
Yeah, don't prejudge. You know, she might have a great heart.
So yeah, you know, bootcamp was a success. Thank you for everyone that came out. Anybody that missed it, we're hosting another one, December 2nd and the 3rd of 2022 this year. Yep. That's most likely going to be the last door-to-door bootcamp that we're going to host until our big conference, Win the Storm, which is in March. So if you guys haven't gotten a chance to make it out, you definitely want to be at this next one, December 2nd and 3rd.
Yep.
There's no better time if you guys are on the East Coast, if it's cold, to come out to Arizona and learn a good trade that you're going to bring to your company and have the strongest tool in your tool belt leading into the spring and summer. There's no better time to come out here if you guys are slow in the winter time to come out and learn something new.
Well said, Bruce. It'll be 45, and that's the low. So yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll be all right.
Yeah, it's nice out here in the winter. So
yeah,
thank you guys for joining, and we will see you next week at the same time.
Absolutely. Till next time, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
Take care. Absolutely.